Hello, friend. I'm going to share a vulnerable part of my story with you. I lost my dad at 6 months old, and we moved with my grandparents to St. Croix, Virgin Islands. I did not start speaking until I was 3 years old, and at the time, the culture that I lived in spoke a form of Creole English called Crucian. In other words, broken English. After losing everything in Hurricane Hugo, we moved from St. Croix to St. Paul, Minnesota. I started kindergarten there, but due to my delayed speech, the school wanted to hold me back. My mom disagreed and moved me to a new school in both first grade and second grade. In second grade, the school I attended thankfully had a speech therapist who worked with me from second grade to sixth grade. And by then, my reading level skyrocketed, and although my speech improved greatly, I continued to struggle. And it followed me into adulthood. You see, when I am overstimulated, nervous, or truly any high level of emotion, my brain sprints forward, but my lips cannot keep up. This either causes me to create words that do not truly exist, or even worse, it causes me to stutter. It is embarrassing, and I've been ashamed when it happens person to person. So I've spent my life horrified that it would happen in front of a large group of people with me front and center. I made public speaking the Mount Everest that I convinced myself that I could never climb. I've turned down opportunities because I feared that they included public speaking. Due to this fear, I've questioned not only my abilities, but my self-worth. At the end of last year, I was elected to the Emerald Coast Association of Realtors Board of Directors as the North Walton Area Director. I did not realize the amount of public speaking that came with this role. By February, I realized that it was going to be this year that I would be battling my fear of public speaking, but by August, I realized that not only would I win the battle, but I would absolutely conquer the war when it came to this fear. I've realized that God is pushing me out of my comfort zone, so I am stepping forward in faith. I want to share with you what has happened since I decided to take on this fear. This year, I have prayed at the board of directors meeting and at our huge member meeting when I could say there was a time that I would have politely refused. I have spoken at 3 different classes about what's going on at our association and upcoming events that we're having. I've continually put myself out there at events to stand front and center while allowing myself to be terrified, but also exhilarated because I've watched myself grow into roles that I would have never even allowed myself to imagine. Let me tell you about one of my biggest wins. At our FR conference in August, God placed me at a table that I would have never put myself at this time last year. But God used me in that seat to put me in front of a committee to share the premises of a class that I would love to see it come to our association. Since then, I've been told that we will be taking it from an idea that I had to an email that I sent to a class outline that I shared in a room full of professional development people to an actual class that will be a part of the education calendar at our local association. On top of that, let me tell you, God is showing up big. A class that I thought that I would have to go to Orlando for and be away from my babies is actually being held at our association office in San Rose Beach this month. This is a spokes train class that a year ago I would have frozen in fear at the idea of it. I do want to shout out to Rick Gonzalez in Thomas, Canada, because my next Mount Everest is videos. I've wanted to start doing this for years, but I had to first get over my fear of speaking and my fear of everyone seeing me at my most vulnerable. And they both challenged me to start with this story. So here I am, friend. I'm saying all this to share that whatever your Mount Everest is, you can climb it and you can conquer it. I would love to hear about your Mount Everest battles and victories. Please know that I am always available for any questions, concerns, collaborations, celebrations, or coffee. Thank you, and I hope to hear from you. God bless.